The sun was gentle that morning, spilling over the quiet suburban street like a secret. Emily Gardner knelt beside her garden bed, her hands buried in damp soil, humming softly as she watered her hydrangeas. The world, at last, felt ordinary, safe. Until a black sedan slowed to a stop at the curb. A man stepped out. Sunglasses, neutral suit, controlled posture. But his eyes, they froze the air around her. He whispered her old name, a name she hadn't heard in 12 years. Her heart stopped mid-beat. The watering can slipped from her hand, water soaking the earth like a sudden rain. Before I tell you what happened next, tell me in the comments where you are watching from. I love knowing who is listening. Emily tried to stand, but her knees trembled. The man's lips barely moved as he said, "It's you, isn't it, Agent Lysandra Hale?" The name clawed at her past, the name that had once existed only in sealed CIA files, the name she had buried when she disappeared after Operation Whisperlight. She forced a faint smile. "You must be mistaken," she said, but her voice betrayed her. The man, Agent Daniel Reese, didn't smile back. "You saved my life in Caracas," he said quietly, "and vanished. They said you were dead." A bird cried in the distance. Somewhere down the block a dog barked, but between them silence roared. Years ago, Emily had walked away from that world after what the mission had cost her. Her partner, her identity, her peace. The explosion in that warehouse had ended more than an operation. It had shattered the part of her that believed she could do good without becoming what she feared. Now, the past stood in front of her, wearing a government badge. Reese lowered his voice. "We need you. Someone's resurrecting the Whisperlight network, and they're hunting every name connected to it." Her chest tightened. "You're saying they found me?" He nodded. "You've been off-grid for 12 years, Emily, but you're already on their list." For a moment she felt the garden shrink around her, the sunlight dulling, the air turning sharp. She looked at her flowers, blooming despite the coming storm, and thought of all the years she had spent trying to grow something good again. She wanted to say no, to tell him she was done. But when he showed her the file, a photo of a young woman, terrified and blindfolded, she knew. That woman had her daughter's eyes. Her breath hitched. "Who is she?" "An analyst," Reese said. "They took her 2 days ago. She's the only one who can decrypt the Whisperlight data." Emily's mind screamed no, but her hands, trembling and alive again with purpose, said yes. That night, the quiet suburban home went dark. The hydrangeas still glistened in the moonlight, but Emily Gardner was gone. In her place, Lysandra Hale returned. Her movements were precise, practiced, like someone slipping back into her own shadow. Files hidden under floorboards, weapons she swore never to touch again. A small locket, her daughter's photo inside, pressed against her chest. Reese met her near the docks where the night air carried the smell of salt and danger. "You remember how to move unseen?" he asked. She gave him a look that made him regret asking. "You don't forget things like that," she said. They moved through the port like ghosts, guided by the flicker of cargo lights and the sound of distant engines. Every sound carried weight. A creak of metal, a footstep in the dark, a breath too loud. Emily led the way, her instincts razor-sharp, but inside, she wrestled with the storm. She had promised herself she'd never hurt anyone again. Yet here she was, one heartbeat away from breaking that vow. They found the warehouse. Guards, shadows. Silence heavy as grief. Reese whispered, "We go in quiet." But quiet never lasts. The fight broke like thunder. Boots scraping concrete, muffled cries, the flash of steel under a broken bulb. Emily moved like a memory of war. Fast, decisive, invisible. Each motion carried both precision and pain. When they reached the back room, she stopped. There, tied to a chair, was the girl, alive, but terrified. "CIA," Emily whispered, cutting the ropes. "You're safe now." But just as the girl lifted her eyes, a voice echoed from the shadows. "Lysandra Hale, I knew you couldn't resist." A man stepped out. The traitor from Whisperlight. The one she'd thought died in Caracas. Her pulse raced. "I buried you." He smiled. "Not deep enough?" The next seconds unfolded in fragments. The crack of a gun, the shattering of glass, the sting of smoke in her eyes. Reese was hit. Emily dragged him behind cover, heart pounding, fury rising like fire. She saw the traitor advancing, weapon raised, and she had a choice: to end him, or to end the cycle. Her finger hovered over the trigger. 12 years of guilt, 12 years of pretending to be normal, and in that heartbeat, she chose mercy. She disarmed him instead, swiftly, brutally, but without killing. "You don't get to decide who I am anymore," she said. By dawn, the girl was safe. Reese was alive, and the Whisperlight network was gone for good. Emily watched the sunrise from the harbor, the sea shimmering like liquid gold. She felt tired, but free. Reese looked at her, pale and bandaged. "You could have killed him." "I've killed enough ghosts," she said softly. "It's time to grow something instead." Weeks later, she was back in her garden. The soil felt different beneath her hands. Warmer, alive, with something new. When a neighbor passed by and waved, she smiled easily this time, because she wasn't hiding anymore, because kindness doesn't vanish. It waits, and it finds its way back. And sometimes redemption looks like a woman watering her plants, while the world quietly heals around her. If this story moved, you tell us in the comments where you are watching from, and don't forget to subscribe to Whispered Words for more stories that remind us no past is too dark for light to return.